Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the entire staff of Beech Ridge Motor Speedway and the Cusack family, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Maine's oldest continually operating family-owned speedway. My name is Bruce Elder, your race commentator, and tonight we feature the Coors Limited Sportsman Spectacular. Along with the Skull Bandit monster truck that you see sitting in the infield, you certainly have a night to remember here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway. We'll be opening with 4 qualifying heats for the Limited Sportsman Spectacular. Then qualifying heats in the late model and modified division. We'll be coming back with consolation events for the Limited Sportsman field, which will start 40 cars tonight, 38 by qualifying, and 2 from a provisional start program that we'll tell you a little bit more about. Payoff tonight will be $1,000 to the winner, and then it'll go down to $700 for second, $350 for third, $250 for fourth, a total of $3,800 paid off tonight to the Limited Sportsman drivers. So you can bet that every one of them want a piece of that. 20-lap qualifying heats with 7 cars to qualify from each heat. Assistant starter Junior Niles on the stand for the first qualifying heat. On the pole in the number 90, it is Rusty Shaw. To his outside, the 103 is driven by Eric Lund. 7 cars to qualify from this first of 4 20-lap qualifying heats for the 75-lap Coors Limited Sportsman Spectacular. Pace car on infield pit road looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Rusty Shaw jumps into a quick lead. The 59 of Frank Scott a little out of shape, and he takes the 09 to the outside with him. Frank Collins all the way dropped back to the back of the lineup, but he keeps it under control. We stay under green. Rusty Shaw leads the way in the number 90. Then comes the 103 of Eric Lund, the 71 of Scott Lucia. Side-by-side battle shaping up for fourth. The 99 of Jim Colpert on the inside. The 109 of Gary Sturdivant on the outside as they battle for the top 5. Scott Lucia on the move up the inside, and he takes over the second position. Remember, only 7 cars to qualify from this qualifying heat. The 96 of John Maycomber with some mechanical difficulty takes it onto the infield. It will mean the consolation event for Maycomber in the 96. Meanwhile, the 99 of Jim Colpert has made his way into third position. Fourth, Gene Theriault into the wall along with Mike Grant. Mike Grant trying to drive away from that, puts us under a caution flag. The number 9 of Mike Grant able to drive away from that. Gene Theriault not so fortunate as he is unbuckling and unhooking the window net. Appears to be okay, but certainly some damage to the right side of the number 41 of Gene Theriault out of Portland, Maine, as they'll bring the first qualifying heat back around for a restart with 3 laps down in this 20-lap qualifying heat for the Limited Sportsman. These are the lower point Limited Sportsman. Looking for a start at turn 4 as assistant starter Niles. Green flag is out. Once again, Rusty Shaw jumps into a quick lead over Scott Lucia. Jim Colpert trying to take over second as he muscles his way under the 71 of Lucia. They get out of shape, and Lucia is unable to straighten the car back out, and that turns Lucia around, starting down the backstretch. Tough break for Scott Lucia as he came together with the 99 of Jim Colpert. Colpert also way out in the outside groove. Something wrong with the 99, dragging something from the front end. So that little skirmish eliminates both the 99 of Jim Colpert and the 71 of Scott Lucia from the top positions. Rusty Shaw, Gary Sturdivant, 3-way battle now. Here comes Steve Carrier right up the inside to take over third spot. Steve Carrier, youngster out of Somersworth, New Hampshire in the 83. Then comes the 103 of Eric Lund in fourth place. Battle shaping up for fifth. Joe Green coming up the inside. The veteran Ed Gallant on the outside. Side-by-side battle. Gallant gets a good bite down the front stretch. He's up beside the 103 of Lund now, battling for the fourth position side-by-side. It looks like Gallant in the fourth position. Here comes Joe Green to challenge on the outside of the 103 of Lund. Remember, only 7 cars to qualify. The rest will have to go to the consolation events. 7 laps down. Joe Green gets sideways in the 3 and 4 turn. All the drivers get below the number 30, the 30 right back under power, but that will put him right at the end of the lineup with the 71 of Lucia. Out of a qualifying position. Spin on the backstretch. The 09 of Frank Collins, the 9 of Mike Grant puts us under yellow. The 59 of Frank Scott, all involved there on the backstretch. Starter says the track is clear. Look for a start at turn 4. Rusty Shaw looking to reestablish his lead out of turn 4. Green is out. Rusty Shaw leads the way in the number 90. Then the 109 of Gary Sturdivant. Here comes Steve Carrier to the inside, right down in the speed bumps, looking for room. Cars tangle in the 1 turn. The 32 of Guy Poulin and the 33 of Bob Doak. The 10 down and 10 to go. Rusty Shaw continues to show the way. Black flag going out to a car there. We'll have to check on that. Caution is out once again as Bob Doak is unable to refire the number 33. Only 7 of these cars to qualify. So far, Rusty Shaw has looked strong right off the start. See if he can do it once again. Flagman says keep it even. Green is out. Rusty Shaw once again from the inside. Gary Sturdivant to the outside. Steve Carrier right at the back bumper of the Shaw automobile. 3 abreast racing in the 1 and 2 turn. Once again, they'll be approaching the halfway mark this time by. And it continues to be Rusty Shaw at the halfway point. Now Steve Carrier at his back bumper has taken over second place. Here comes Glenn Reynolds up the inside to challenge Sturdivant for the 3rd place position. Reynolds with a bumper ahead as they race the backstretch into the 3 turn. Sturdivant right back on the outside. Side-by-side battle for the next spot. Joe Green to the inside and Ed Glant to the outside. Everybody wanting a qualifying position if they possibly can and avoid the consolation event. Continues to be Rusty Shaw in the number 90, Steve Carrier in the 83, Glenn Reynolds in the 105, Gary Sturdivant in the 109, and Joe Green now has taken over 5th place. Last qualified car appears to be the 13 of Ed Gallant. Gentleman who has raced many years here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, enjoys the limited sportsman, stuck with that division. Now it looks to be a 3-way battle shaping up for that last position. Jim Colbert to the inside, the 104 looking for racing room. The 104 driven by Ed Strong. Had to back out of it just a little bit. Is as though the 99 is the last qualified car at this time. It'll be 15 down and 5 to go. Steve Carrier battling to the inside of the Rusty Shaw automobile. Couldn't quite find room that time. Has to get back into single file as he chases the number 90, trying to take over that first spot. The 104 of Ed Strong, the 7th and last qualifier. Continues to be the 104 of Ed Strong, the last qualified car at this time. He's looking to move up one more position as he works to the outside of the 99 of Jim Colbert Jr. Meanwhile, up front, Steve Carrier puts a lot of pressure to the inside of the number 90, looking for racing room on the inside. Can't quite find it as Shaw gets the car back down on the inside. Carrier has to back out of it just a little bit. It'll be 2 laps to go next time by. Rusty Shaw with a lot of pressure from the youngster out of Somersworth, New Hampshire, Steve Carrier. Then comes Glenn Reynolds, Joe Green, Gary Sturdivant, your top 5. Then Jim Colbert and Ed Strong, the last qualified car. As they approach the 4 turn, the white flag will be out. 1 lap to go. Carrier tries to the inside once again. Couldn't quite do it as Rusty Shaw continues to hang on to first place position. First and second place cars have really put some distance on the rest of the pack. Spin in the 3-turn. Joe Green once again gets together with Sturdivant. Checkered flag is out for Rusty Shaw, collecting the first qualifier, followed by Steve Carrier, Glenn Reynolds, Gary Sturdivant, Jim Culpert Jr., Ed Strong for the top qualifiers in this first of 4 limited sportsman qualifying heats. Cars that did not qualify will have to come back in a consolation event. Nice round of applause for Rusty Shaw, driving the number 90. Once again, 20-lap qualifier with 7 cars to qualify. Pace car from Pape Chevrolet in South Portland. The Beretta is on the infield pit road. On the front line, once again, the 63 of Mike Roberts, the 87 of Steve Perry bring the field down. Green is out. Steve Perry right from the outside as the 63 has some problems getting underway. The 69 of Richard Olin right up the inside, and the 79 of Phil Weber dropping Mike Roberts right back to 4th here in the first half lap. Steve Perry, who has been a strong runner here the last couple of weeks, in the number 87. Once again, the lineups are by point standing, so the higher point cars are toward the end of the lineup. Leader continues to be Steve Perry. Then comes Richard Olin in the 69. The 79 of Phil Weber. The 63 of Mike Roberts, and the 107 of Doug Shores on the move down the backstretch as he moves to the outside of the 63, now to the outside of the 79. Keep your eyes on the 107 of Doug Shores. One of the few Fords in competition here at the Speedway. Doug Shores, always a strong competitor, once again sets his sights to the outside of the 79 of Phil Weber as they race the backstretch to the 3 turns. Side by side now with the 79 and the 4 turn. Looking down the front stretch, they are side by side across the start-finish line. Slight advantage into turn 1, it goes to Shores. The 63 of Roberts now showing a lot of smoke. Hard to tell whether it's just some excess liquid or if it's a real problem in the 63. Doug Shores on the move as he takes over 3rd position. Phil Weber in 4th, Mike Roberts 5th. Steve Reno in 7th, and Lloyd Washburn, your last qualified car. 7 cars to qualify. Black flag is being shown now to the 63 of Mike Roberts as the smoke gets worse. He'll take the car to the outside and right on pit road. Tom Bragg spins in the 4 turn in a tangle with the 06 of Dennis Quinn, puts us under caution. But right now we're ready to restart the 2nd qualifier. Steve Perry and Richard Olin bring the field down. Green is out as they race the front stretch. Steve Perry back into the lead, followed by Richard Olin. Then comes Phil Weber. Lloyd Washburn in 4th spot. Larry Gelinas on the move in the number 37 as he looks to the outside of the number 60 of Washburn. All the drivers back in the pack jockeying for a way to the top 7. Right now, it's about a 4-way battle for that last qualifying position. The 66 of Trent Smith, the 24 of Danny Bubar, the 107 of Doug Shores, and the 85 of Scott Chapman, all battling for that 7th qualifying position. Right now in the hands of Don Tapley, but that could change at any time as all the drivers are hungry for a qualifying position. Scott Chapman right up the inside now, and he appears to be the 7th place And last qualified car. Halfway point, 10 down and 10 to go for the 87 of Perry. Richard Olin trying to hold off the hard-charging Larry Gelinas in the number 37, as 37 now looks to the outside of the 69 as they race the three turns side by side. Richard Olin to the inside, Larry Gelinas to the outside. Gelinas takes over the second spot as they race the front stretch to turn 1. 114 gets out of shape off over the four-turn, manages to keep it off from the wall area. Does a nice job of keeping the car out of the wall. It's Dan White in the 114. He'll have to be back in the Consolation event. Shores in the 85 of Chapman tangled coming out of the four-turn. Danny Palmer now, the last qualified car. And he is on the move looking for another spot if he possibly can do it. Danny Bubar, the 24, on the move on the outside, trying to make 66 the last qualified car, as the top 7 have put some distance now on the rest of the field. Larry Gelinas right up the inside now as he challenges Steve Perry in the 1 turn. New leader in the 1 and 2 turn is Larry Gelinas in the 37 as he takes over the point. Steve Perry battling back on the outside. But the new leader, 15 laps down, 5 to go, Larry Gelinas in the 37. Then comes Steve Perry. Richard Olin in the 69 is 3rd. Side-by-side battle for 4th. Danny Bubar taking over 4th down the backstretch. Then comes Phil Weber, Lloyd Washburn, and Trent Smith. Larry Gelinas with a strong running number 37 here tonight. Definitely a car to watch in the feature event. One of Jeff Waterman's sponsored cars from the Sunoco Ultra Service Center. Putting some distance now on second place competitor Steve Perry, and they have virtually run away from the 3rd place competitors. 2 to go this time by. 18 down, 2 to go. Side-by-side battle now for 3rd. Danny Bubar to the outside, Richard Olin to the inside. Last qualified car appears to be the 60 of Lloyd Washburn. White flag is in the air for Larry Gelinas. 1 lap to go. Checkered flag in the air for Larry Gelinas in the number 37, collecting the 2nd qualifying heat of the evening, followed by Steve Perry, Danny Bubar, Richard Olin, Trent Smith, Lloyd Washburn. Top qualifiers in the 2nd qualifying event. 7 cars to qualify. Look for a start at turn 4. Jim Davis and Bubba Pelton on the front line. Flagman Eddie Walsh has the green out. Bubba Pelton from the outside jumps into a quick lead as they race the front stretch to the 1 turn, followed by Jim Davis, Phil Weeks, Robbie Dorr. Side-by-side battle for 5th. Rocky Yargo to the inside, Dave Sprague to the outside. Remember, only 7 cars to qualify. Bubba Pelton leads him down for the first lap. Jim Davis, Robbie Dorr looking for racing room on the inside. Phil Weeks to the outside. Then comes Rocky Yargo having taken over 5th. Here comes Jim Bird up the inside to challenge the number 1 of Sprague. They race the 3 and 4 turn. Jim Davis right out of shape, does a nice job of collecting the car, but that opens up the inside for Robbie Dorr. Up into 2nd place. Last qualified car right now is the number 1, but it looks like that's going to shake up as cars tangle in the 1 and 2 turn. The 12 of Tim Gendron. Everybody stays underway. Drivers do a nice job of handling that. Bubba Pelton continues to show the way in the number 27, and the 23 of Dorr, the 65 of Yargo, the 82 of Jim Davis, the 19 of Phil Weeks, the 49 of Ron Smith, and the number 1 of Dave Sprague. The qualified cars right now, all the rest of these cars obviously desperately wanting a qualifying position. Last qualifier continues to be the number 1 of Sprague, already a feature winner this year. in the limited sportsman division. A lot of strong cars sitting outside of a qualifying position right now, right back through the field. From 8th place right on back, a lot of top cars that have won feature events. The 75 of Donnie Morse. Strong runner, of course, the 25 feature winner last week, Kevin Buck. Steve Winslow right up the inside, working himself into a qualifying position. Steve Winslow now the 7th and last qualified car. Jim Burt, Gordon Nelson, Mark Field. Here comes Kerry Anderson down the outside as they race the backstretch to the 3-turn. Donnie Morse looking for racing room on the inside. No place to go right now. Kerry Anderson's going to try to make the outside groove work. Keep your eyes on the 51 of Anderson, a hard charger. Out of the 2-turn down the backstretch. He looks to the outside of the 61 of Gordon Nelson. He's up beside Nelson now. 2 more spots and he'll have a qualifying position. 51 of Kerry Anderson on the move. He's up beside the 17 of Jim Burt. Loses just a little bit in the 2-turn. Down the backstretch, he challenges to the outside of 17. Once again, halfway point. 10 down, 10 to go. Continues to be Kerry Anderson on the move, and the number 51 caution flag is out, as it looks like the 64 of Rick Verrill in trouble in the 2-turn. Sitting in a bad spot. Flagman Eddie Walsh puts the cars under caution. Flagman Eddie Walsh says we're ready to restart with 10 down, 10 to go. Bubba Pelton and Robbie Dorr bring the field down. Heat number 3. Green is out. Pelton jumps into a quick lead, followed by Dorr, then a side-by-side battle. Yargo to the inside, Weeks to the outside. Then comes Ron Smith right up the inside. Dave Sprague to the outside. Remember, only 7 cars to qualify. Continues to be Bubba Pelton showing the way. Robbie Dorr, Rocky Yargo, Phil Weeks, Ron Smith, the top 5. And it looks like the last qualifier right now would be the number 10 of Steve Winslow. Looks like it's still the number 10 in the 7th and last qualifying position. Continues to be Kerry Anderson trying to find room on the outside as he's racing right to the back bumper of the number 1 of Sprague. Here comes Jim Burt up the inside. Donnie Morse continues to look for racing room to the inside. Gordon Nelson to the outside. Sprague gets wide now in the 4-turn. Cars tangled coming down the front stretch. Donnie Morse to the inside. Jim Burt to the outside. As the cars hooked together, they get them shaken free, but both of those cars lose a lot of ground. Number 51 now appears to be the last qualifier. Kerry Anderson doesn't appear to be ready to settle for 7th place as he now challenges on the backstretch to the outside of Steve Winslow in the number 10. Puts a fender ahead in the 3-turn. Winslow fights back on the inside to hang on to that 6th place position. Kerry Anderson gets a little wide. Here comes Dave Sprague on the inside to challenge the 51 of Kerry Anderson. Anderson's on the outside and he's going to have to stay there. Robbie Dorr gets out of shape in the 1-turn. Does a nice job of holding the car, but he loses some ground now as he was trying to mount a challenge to our race leader. It'll be 2 to go this time by. Number 1 appears to be the last qualifier. 2 laps to go. Seventh place is still up for grabs. The number 1 hangs on to it right now by about a half a car length over 51, Kerry Anderson. White flag is out for Pelton. Dorr, Weeks, Yargo, Smith, the 10 of Winslow, and the number 1 of Sprague. Kerry Anderson takes the car right on a pit road. Tough break as he bows out in the last lap. Checkered flag in the air for Richard Bubba Pelton, collecting heat number 3 over Robbie Dorr, Phil Weeks, Rocky Yago, Ron Smith, Steve Winslow, and Dave Sprague, the top qualifiers from the 3rd heat. Flagman Eddie Walsh says the track is clear, the lineup is correct. Look for a start at turn 4 as the Beretta from Pape Chevyland is onto the infield pit road. Flagman Eddie Walsh says keep it even, gentlemen, pick it up just a little bit as the drivers bring it down to a slow start. Robbie Herrick, Beaver Norton, green is out. Robbie Herrick jumps in a slim lead over Beaver Norton. The 14 of Chris Rule fills in the 3rd spots, challenging for 2nd now down the backstretch on the inside. Chris Rule slides in a 2nd in the 3-turn. Beaver Norton fights back on the outside, but it's Chris Rule up in a 2nd place in the number 14. Three-way battle shaping up for 4th place. Chuck Haynes takes over 4th. Then comes the 91 of Dave Colpert. Sliding back now as the 78 of Dave Fecto makes his way up into 5th place. Remember, only 7 cars to qualify. Looks like the 91 is the last qualifier right now. And he has some heavy hitters at his back bumper. Mike Field coming up the outside. Billy Thompson at his back bumper. Don Colpert Jr. on the move in the number 16. Looks for racing room between cars. Can't quite find it that time as Mike Field works his way out and around the 91 of Colpert. Mike Field in the 88 now, your last qualifier from this heat. Once again, a lot of the top runners, the high point men, right now sitting outside of a qualifying position. It'll be 5 down, 15 to go as they cross the stripe this time by. Continues to be Robbie Herrick showing the way. Challenge for that last qualifying spot to the outside of the 88 is the 16 of Don Colpert Jr. Brad Layton trying it 3 wide in the 3-turn as he's desperately trying to find a way to the front. Brad Layton takes 3 cars, but the 54 of Rick Frenette fights back on the inside. Tangles with the number 2 of Layton as they negotiate the 4-turn. Frenette and Layton came together, and it looked like perhaps Frenette came out on the short end of that as he taking right on pit road. Looks like the last qualifier. 88, Mike Field. Chuck Haynes experiencing mechanical difficulty as he takes the car right down in on the speed bumps. Now it looks like he'll take it to pit road. Top 7 have broken away from the rest of the field. It'll be halfway. It'll be 10 down, 10 to go next time by. Robbie Herrick doing a nice job, continues to show the way as he manages to hold off the 14 of Chris Rule, the 38 of Beaver Norton, the 78 of Dave Fecto, the 0 of Gary Clough, the 16 of Don Colpert's on the move as he works to the outside of the 0 of Gary Clough. Mike Field kind of by himself for right now as he has put some distance on Gary Johnson in the number 8, who's desperately trying to find a way up to the 7th spot. Don Colpert trying to make that outside groove work. Don Colpert continues to work to the outside. Has worked his way up now. 4th spot Youngster in the number 16 has come a long way. Keep your eyes on the number 16 of Don Coppert Jr. Already a feature winner here this year. Strong runner. Trying to advance to the front. 14 laps down. 6 to go. Don Coppert on the move as he is worked up to the outside of the 38. Challenging now. Looking to the outside of the 14 of Chris Rule. Leaders continue to run the inside groove. Don Coppert making the outside groove work for his number 16. He's up side by side with Rule now. Not going to stop there. Looking to the outside of the race leader, Robbie Herrick. Keep your eyes on the 16 of Don Coppert Jr. He's come a long ways. 16 laps down. Challenging for the front now. The 16 of Don Coppert head-to-head with the 86 of Robbie Herrick. Down the backstretch to the 3-turn. Don Coppert trying to take over the front. Puts the car sideways in the 4-turn. Takes over the lead out of the 4-turn down the front stretch. Lap 17 finds Don Coppert Jr. taking over the lead with a nice run from way back in the pack. Strong running limited sportsman. The number 2 of Brad Layton on the move. Come all the way from the back of the pack. Flagman Eddie Walsh says it'll be 2 to go this time by. Brad Layton now on the move. Up into a qualifying spot, but not going to settle for that as he works to the outside of the 0 of Gary Clough. Looks to the outside of the 78 of Fecto. White flag flies for the number 16 of Coppert and the rest of the field. Last qualifier appears to be the 0 of Gary Clough. Impressive run by Don Coppert as the checkered flag flies for the number 16. Robbie Herrick, Chris Rule, Beaver Norton, Brad Layton all the way up into a qualifying position along with Gary Clough, and the 78 of Dave Fecto appear to be the top qualifiers. That is, of course, unofficial. The 32, Joe Bowser. The 88, Kurt Gary. The 0, Barry Babb. The number 1, Kenny Lund. Number 4, Bobby Babb. Green is out. The last 2 cars, the 98 of Carl Lattamy, the 28 of Ken McLeod. Battle up front. Mitch Brown to the inside. The 17 of Al Bursett trying to make the outside work. Side by side, dead heat across the finish line. Dead heat into turn 1. Here comes Bursett down the outside, down the backstretch, takes over the lead. Trying to hold it now as Mitch Brown fights back on the inside. The 17 of Bursett right out over the stripe continues to show the way as Mitch Brown tries to battle back on the inside, but it's the 17 of Bursett. Here comes Gary Clough down the outside. Gary Clough on the move as he works his way out and around the 40 of Mitch Brown. Now sets his sights on the 17 of Bursett. Gary Clough out of Gray, Maine, improving each and every week. Continues to look to the outside. Andy Lude, strong runner out of Biddeford, Maine. The 56 has worked his way up into 3rd. Here comes Joe Bowser trying to take over 4th. It'll be halfway, 5 down, 5 to go this time by. Gary Pulsifer. Gary Pulsifer, I'm sorry, in the 27. I got his sponsor on my mind, I guess. The Clough Racing sponsored car of Gary Pulsifer in the 27. Works to the outside once again of Al Bursett. 2 lead cars have put a little distance on the 56 of Andy Lude, and that's a chore for anyone to do. 2 laps to go this time by, 8 down and 2 to go. Babb brothers racing side by side. The 0 of Barry Babb. The 4 of Bobby Babb. White flag is out. Continues to be Al Bursett. Holding off Gary Pulsifer in the 27. Then comes Andy Lude, Joe Bowser, Kerry Winslow, Barry Babb, and Bobby Babb. Checkered flag in the air for Al Brissett. The 33 to his outside, Mike Johnson. Bobby Randall in the 91. 64 is Louis Tobias. Green is out. Rounding out that lineup, the number 5 is Pete Rondo. The 25, Dave Herrick. And the 01, Dave Bath. Bobby Harrison holds on a slim lead over Bobby Libby. Harrison to the inside, Libby to the outside. Mike Mayetta trying to fill up the inside lane. Bobby Libby has run very impressive this year in the number 34 Chevy Luminar, sponsored by Forest City Chevrolet. Mike Mayetta with a good move up the inside. The number 13, dead heat and even with Bobby Libby, takes a slight advantage out of the 4-turn down the front stretch. Holds on to her second spot as they cross the start-finish line for lap number 3. Glenn Cusack now trying to make it right up the inside to see if he can take over third spot. Libby continues in the outside groove. The 33 of Mike Johnson gets out of shape coming out of the 4-turn. He refires the car, and that keeps us under green. We'll be approaching the halfway mark next time around. 5 down, 5 to go. Bobby Harrison, Mike Mayetta, Glenn Cusack, Bobby Libby, and Phil Pinkham, the top 5. Mike Mayetta looking to the outside of the 37 now. As Mayetta moves to the outside, Glenn Cusack is right up the inside trying to close up that inside lane. Mayetta now once again to the outside of the 37. That allows Cusack to move in and challenge for the second position as Cusack races to the back bumper of the 37. Bobby Harrison out of Scarborough, Maine, trying to hold off 2 strong runners here as the white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Bobby Harrison, Glenn Cusack, Mike Mayetta, Phil Pinkham, Paul Johnson up into 5th spot. Checkered flag is out for Bobby Harrison, collecting the second late model sportsman qualifying heat over Glenn Cusack, Mike Mayetta, then Phil Pinkham and Paul Johnson for your top 5. Open wheel modifieds approaching speeds up in the high 90s. Looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Jimmy Emerson jumps into a quick lead right off the outside front row. Then comes the 21 of Dave Lamprin working the outside. Here comes Brad Layton to the outside of Clint Rowell now. Cars all stacked up from 3rd position back. Brad Layton working on the outside groove to the outside of Glenn Cusack. Glenn Cusack looks to the inside of Rowell. Couldn't quite find room that time by. Jimmy Emerson and the Jimmy Glantz prepared number 24 out of Windham, Maine, improving each and every week. Dave Lamprin, having only made several shows so far in the 1990 season, always a strong runner in the number 21. As the leaders put a little distance on the 3rd place car, Scott Watts now finding racing room to the outside of the number 6 of Rowell. Scott Watts up into 3rd place. Gary Drew momentarily boxed in as he is at the back bumper of the Rowell machine. Looks to follow Glenn Cusack to the outside of the number 6 if he can. Halfway this time by, 5 down and 5 to go for Jimmy Emerson. Jimmy Emerson continues to show the way in the number 24 over the 21 of Dave Lamprin. The 8 of Glenn Cusack slides off over the 3 and 4 turn. That brings out the caution as record crew will get down there to assess the damage on the number 8 and see if they can separate him from the shrubbery down there, as it appears as though the car is kind of stuck down there in some sand. Tough break for Glenn Cusack, who was a winner here 2 weeks ago in the modified division with a fine run in the Atlas Auto and Towing number 8. Little help from the wrecker, and Glenn Cusack has it back underway, so none the worse for the slide, evidently. Jimmy Emerson, Dave Lamprin on the front line. Green is out. Jimmy Emerson with a slight advantage over Dave Lamprin. Scott Watts right up the inside. Lamprin tucks it in to follow Emerson down the backstretch into the 3 turn. It'll be 2 to go this time by. 2 laps to go. Gary Drew looking for racing room as he dives to the inside of Scott Watts, trying to take over 3rd spot. White flag is in the air. Continues to be Jimmy Emerson. The 21 of Lamprin, the 91 of Drew. Here comes Brad Layton up the inside as he challenges Watts now in the last lap. Checkered flag in the air for Jimmy Emerson. Dave Lamprin, Gary Drew, Scott Watts, and Brad Layton, the top 5. Green flag. Lou Weatherby and Spike Matadol side by side to the 1 turn. Slight advantage by Spike Matadol out of the 2 turn down the backstretch. Cars wheel to wheel as they race the 3 turn. Lou Weatherby back on the inside, leading out of the 4 turn down the front stretch. Slim lead by Weatherby. Then comes Spike Matadol in the 89. Mayetta in the 16. Side by side battle now. Pinkham to the inside, Rondo to the outside. Lou Weatherby in the one of the Channel One video sponsored cars. 2 feature wins to his credit. Best looking modified in every show entered this year, which totaled probably about 4, all the way to Springfield, Massachusetts. 1990 Troyer. He's followed by Mike Mayetta out of South Portland, Maine, feature winner this year also. In 3rd spot, 2-time defending champion David Pinkham. Mayetta now looks to the outside of the Weatherby machine, out of the 2 turn down the backstretch. Mike Mayetta once again looking to the outside, trying to challenge the leader in the 3 and 4 turn. Gets a little high, loses some ground, has to get out of it just a little bit. David Pinkham now in 2nd spot. He seems to lose a little ground the 1 and 2 turn as Weatherby puts a little distance on the 2nd place competitor. They are in their 7th lap. It'll be 2 to go next time by in this 10-lap qualifier. Lou Weatherby now putting some distance on the 2nd and 3rd place competitors. 2 to go. Lou Weatherby, David Pinkham, Mike Mayetta, Spike Matadol, Willie Elliott, the top 5. White flag is out. Last lap, Lou Weatherby looking to collect another heat win as the checkered flag flies. Lou Weatherby, David Pinkham, Mike Mayetta, Spike Matadol, and Willie Elliott. Top 5 as Lou Weatherby coasts down to the start-finish line. Nice round of applause for the driver number 3 out of Windham, Maine, Lou Weatherby. Flagman Eddie Walsh says the track is clear and look for a start at turn 4. Beretta from Pape Chevrolet is on infield pit road. Jim Culprit, Doug Shores bringing the field down. Green flag. Doug Shores with a slight advantage from the outside, trying to work his way out and around the 99 of Culprit. He does down the backstretch. Your leader, Doug Shores, in the 107. Then comes the 99 of Jim Culprit, the 15 of Don Culprit, of Don Tapley, rather. The 48 of Tom Bragg on the move as he works to the outside of the number 99 now, trying to take over second spot. Down the backstretch to the 3-turn, the 48 of Tom Bragg on the move. Last qualifier appears to be the 103 of Lund. The 50, rather, as caution flag flies. Remember, only 5 cars to qualify. Cars will revert back to the last lap run under the green flag. Doug Shores in the 107. Jim Culprit in the 99. Green is out. Doug Shores has 3 challenges at his back bumper. 48 of Tom Bragg takes over second spot in the 2-turn down the backstretch. Here comes Alan Burby right up the inside, the number 50. Spin by the 03 of Steve Howard on the backstretch. Spin by the 99. Wheel off the number 99. And that puts us right back under a caution flag as the drivers fail to complete another complete lap. The 99 of Jim Culprit sits disabled in the 4-turn, putting us back to a caution once again. Look for a start at turn 4 next time around. Some heavy damage to the 99 of Jim Culprit as 2 wreckers take the car to the pit area. Tough break. Flagman Eddie Walsh says we're ready to start. Look for a start at turn 4. Doug Shores trying to reestablish himself as the leader. Green is out. Doug Shores gets a quick jump on Tom Bragg. Bragg in the number 48. Don Tapley Jr. in the number 15. Alan Burby in the 50. Ralph Height in the 97 are your 5 qualifiers right now. Doug Shores in a Ford trying to hold off the Chevrolet of Tom Bragg. Bragg looking for racing room down on the inside. Out of the 2-turn down the backstretch, the Ford opens up a little distance on the 48 of Tom Bragg. Top 5. The challenger now for that last qualifying position, Dennis Quinn in the 06. Strong runner in the 06, feature winner earlier this year. And certainly Dennis Quinn would love to find a way into this qualifying lineup if he possibly can. Tom Bragg puts the heat to the back bumper of the 107, trying to find a way around the 107 of Shores. Bumper dragging on the 41 of Terrio. Top 2 cars have put some distance on the rest of the heat now. Doug Shores going a little wide, and every time he does, Tom Bragg looks to try to get under that 107. Cars come together partway down the backstretch. Bragg has to back out of it. Shores does a nice job of straightening the car. Continues to show the way. Dennis Quinn on the move as he's worked his way up now to challenge for a qualified position. Third is Don Tapley in the 15. Now side-by-side battle for 4th and 5th. Alan Burby to the inside. Dennis Quinn to the outside. Barabee and 15 get together just a little bit. 50 of Burby is blocked in now as he races to the back bumper of the 15. He has cars going by on the outside. Doug Shores continues to show the way. Dennis Quinn is up to 3rd now. Then comes Don Tapley and Alan Burby. Ralph Height desperately trying to work into a qualifying position, as is Dan White in the 114. Only 5 to qualify. Right now, number 50 is the last qualified car. That's Alan Burraby. It'll be halfway, 10 down, 10 to go this time by. Doug Shores continues to show the way over Tom Bragg, Dennis Quinn, Don Tapley Jr., and Alan Burraby, the top 5 in qualified cars at the halfway point. The number 7 of Steve Reno spins in the entrance to the infield pit road. Looks like he has the car fired. Cannot get the car underway, and that will put us back to a caution. Oh, tangle on the backstretch as the 71 of Scott Lucia sat sideways. Tangle with the leader in the 07. Safety crew radios that the drivers are okay on the backstretch. Apparently some fairly heavy damage to the 107 and the 71. That would be Doug Shore's automobile and Scott Lucia's. Flagman Eddie Wallace says the track is clear. 11 laps down. Tom Bragg on the pole, the number 48 to his outside, the 06 of Dennis Quinn. 5 cars to qualify from this Consolation. Flagman asked the drivers to keep it even as they approach turn 4. Green is out. Tom Bragg with a slight advantage at the start-finish line. Dennis Quinn dives to the inside. 3rd place in the hands of Don Tapley. 4th, Scott Chapman. And 5th, Alan Burraby as they race the 3 and 4 turn. Tom Bragg leads them down lap 12 of this 20-lap Consolation. Dennis Quinn right at the back bumper of the 48 of Tom Bragg. Steve Howard on the move in the number 03. Desperately trying to find a way up into the top 5 as he looks to the outside of the top 6 cars. Tom Bragg with a strong run in the number 48, putting a little distance on the 06 of Dennis Quinn. Then comes Don Tapley in the 15, Scott Chapman in the 85, and Alan Burraby in the 50. The qualifiers right now, 15 laps down, 5 to go. Continues to be a strong run by Tom Bragg. Ralph Height trying to challenge the number 50 for that last qualifying position. Steve Howard puts the car sideways in the 1 and 2 turn, trying desperately to make it up the outside in these last few laps. 17 laps down, 3 to go. Tom Bragg with a strong run. Dennis Quinn trying to reel him in. They've just run away from the 3rd place position. Held by Don Tapley, 2 to go. Ralph Height now right at the back bumper of Alan Burraby as they race the front stretch to the 1 turn. Ralph Height desperately trying to get into the lineup. White flag will be out this time by. 1 lap to go. Tangle in the 4 turn. The cars stay underway. Tom Bragg, Dennis Quinn, Tapley, Chapman, and Burraby. Checkered flag is out for Tom Bragg, Dennis Quinn, Don Tapley, Scott Chapman, and Alan Burraby. Qualifiers from this first Consi. Only 5 cars to qualify. Many of the top cars yet to qualify are in this Consolation event. 20 laps on tap. The Field brothers, Mark and Mike, on the front row. Assistant starter Junior Niles handling the flags for this Consolation event. Green is out. Mark Field jumps into a quick lead as Mike Field gets a little sideways coming out of the 4-turn. Gary Adams right up the inside taking over second. Here comes Donnie Morse taking over third. Gary Johnson on the move on the inside. Remember, only 5 to qualify. Three-way battle now for those last 2 qualifying positions. The 8 driven by Gary Johnson tonight. The 88, Mike Field. The 89, Butch Buzzell. Tim Gendron in the 12. Last week's feature winner, Kevin Buck, in the 25. Cars tangle right here at the start-finish line. The 12 of Gendron, evidently with a broken suspension, will take the car right on pit road. Mark Field continues to show the way over Donnie Morse, Gary Johnson, Gary Adams, and Mike Field. Still the top 5. Kevin Buck and Jeff Morgan knocking on the door in the next 2 positions. Mark Field with an impressive run in the number 72 has put some distance on Donnie Morse in the 75. Then comes Gary Johnson in the number 8. Mike Field in the 88, and Gary Adams with a lot of pressure now from Kevin Buck and Jeff Morgan looking to get into this qualifying lineup. Runner-up in the point standing, Pee Wee Knight, still outside of a qualifying position, as is Kevin Durgan in the Z28. 2 of the top 3 competitors here in the Limited Sportsman division. Leader continues to be the 72 of Mark Field, followed by Donnie Morse in the 75. Gary Adams, they've closed it up a bit now. Mike Field still in 4th. Kevin Buck now has taken over 5th, and he has a hard-charging Jeff Morgan at his back bumper. A lot of top cars outside of qualifying right now. Keep your eyes on the 111 of Pee Wee Knight, the 93 of Danny Palmer, the Z28 of Kevin Durgan. 3 of the top runners here sitting outside of a qualifying position. Kerry Anderson takes the 51 on pit road. Tough break as he breaks down once again. Mark Field now with a mirror full of Donnie Morse as Donnie Morse works to the back bumper of the 72. Second, third, and fourth place competitors have closed it up on the race leader now. Morse looks to the outside now as they race the front stretch, tucks it back in as they enter the 1 turn, right at the back bumper of the race leader. Laps down, 8 to go. Kevin Buck trying to hold off the hard-charging Jeff Morgan as they race side by side down the backstretch for the last qualifying position. Buck on the inside, Jeff Morgan to the outside. Buck holds a slight advantage at the stripe, lap 13. Race is for 5th position, last qualifying position. Kevin Buck in the 25, Jeff Morgan in the 70. Top 4 have broken away from the rest of the pack. Mike Mayetta Jr. outside of a qualifying position, along with Pee Wee Knight, Kevin Durgan, Gary Adams, Danny Palmer, Rick Furnett, Gordon Nelson, Butch Buzzell, Billy Thompson, Earl Glidden, All strong runners sitting outside of a qualifying position for this 75-lap feature event coming up. The 82 going up into the loose stuff, trying to get out of the way of the leader, spins the car in the four-turn. That's Jim Davis. Tries to refire the car. Unable to do so. That'll bring out the caution flag with 16 laps down, 4 to go. We go under caution once again as the 82 sits up off from the four-turn, unable to restart. Right now looking to restart. Green is out. Mark Field with a slight advantage over Donnie Morse. Then comes Gary Johnson. Mike Field and Kevin Buck still battling with Jeff Morgan. It'll be 3 to go this time by. Continues to be Mark Field. Now Gary Johnson, Donnie Morse, Mike Field, and Jeff Morgan now has taken over 5th spot, and he's challenging for 4th. It'll be 2 to go this time by. Mark Field continues to show the way. Here comes Pee Wee Knight up the outside, desperately trying to get into a qualifying position. Kevin Buck spins coming out of the 2-turn down the backstretch. That takes Butch Buzzell and the 54 Fournette. Caution flag will come out as cars sit disabled on the backstretch. Butch Buzzell up against the backstretch wall. Another car just out of the 2-turn on the inside of the track. And we are back to a caution once again. Mark Field and Gary Johnson on the front line, followed by Donnie Morse and Jeff Morgan. And the 3rd row, Mike Field and Pee Wee Knight. Pee Wee Knight having come up from the about 2/3 of the way back in the pack, desperately trying to assure himself a qualifying position. Cars begin to pick up speed in the 3 and 4 turn. Green is out. Mike Field and Gary Johnson dead heat across the start-finish line. Up over the infield sandbanking is Kevin Buck in the number 25. Car is stalled, unable to restart. White flag is in the air. Last qualified car appears to be the 111. 72 of Mark Field, the 8 of Gary Johnson. They'll be looking for checkered and yellow come out together. Last chance qualifies the 72 of Mark Field, the 8 of Gary Johnson. Mark Field brings it right around quick and up to the start-finish line. Nice round of applause for Mark Field, winning the 2nd Consi for the Limited Sportsman Division. Strong run by Mark Field. The green is out. Gary Cusack is trying to get out and around the 17, but the 17 fights right back on the inside. Al Burset showing the way. Then comes the 27 of Gary Palsifa, the 56 of Andy Liu. Louis Tobias, I think we missed in that original start, driving the number 64. Leader continues to be Al Burset in the number 17. Then the 27 of Gary Palsifa, the 56 of Andy Liu. Gary Palsifa trying once again on the outside, and that opens up the inside for Andy Liu in the number 56 as he battles side by side with the 27 now.
Barry Babb on the move on the outside as he tries to work to the outside of Joe Bowser down the backstretch. Cusack with some mechanical difficulties. Looks as though he's headed onto pit road. Something has gone amiss on the number 2. Side-by-side battle now with Al Brissett to the inside. Gary Palsifa to the outside. Then comes Andy Lude looking for racing room at the back bumper of the race leaders. Cars leaders turning the track at 15.99 seconds. Respectable time being run by Brissett and Palsifa as they continue to run at practically a dead heat side by side. Spin into the infield goes the 35 of Paul Johnson as he slides down off from the sand pile. That will bring the caution flag out once again. Just as Paul Johnson gets the car refired. Al Brissett trying to reestablish his lead. Green goes out. Here comes Gary Palsifa to the outside. Gary Palsifa with a terrific move right off the start-finish line and takes over the lead in the 9th lap, or the 10th lap actually. Completing the 10th lap with Gary Palsifa, the new leader, in the number 27. Then comes Al Brissett. Kerry Winslow on the move on the outside in the number 49, working to the outside of the 56 of Andy Lude and the 17 of Brissett. Barry Babb on the move, as is Bobby Harrison, trying to make that outside groove work. Kerry Winslow now to the outside of the 7. They get sideways. Kerry Winslow spins right in front of the pack, collected up by the number 1 of Kenny Lunn. Caution flag will come out once again. The number 1 of Kenny Lund with the right front suspension torn off from the car elects to take it right to the pit area. Also the right front suspension torn off from the number 4 of Bobby Babb, last week's feature winner in the late model division. Some torn up equipment here in this tangle, and we're ready to restart with 11 laps down in this 35 lap late model sportsman feature event. Gary Palsifa and Al Brissett bring the field down. Green is out. On the restart, the 56 of Andy Lude dives to the inside and takes over second place. Then comes Brissett in third. Kurt Gary on the move in the 88. Barry Babb on the move in the 0. Gary Palsifa now has the hard charger Andy Lude in his rearview mirror. Gary Palsifa continues to show the way in the number 27, working to hold off the 56 of two-time winner Andy Lude. Al Brissett by himself in third, and here comes Kurt Gary into fourth to the outside of Barry Babb. Barry Babb, your fifth place contender, and he goes way wide now as something seems to shut down on the 0. A lot of damage to the front end of the 0, and maybe it has taken its toll on something in the drivetrain as Babb had to back right out of it and will take the car on pit road. Flagman Eddie Walsh says it'll be halfway next time by. Continues to be Gary Pulsifer showing the way in the number 27. Gary Pulsifer doing a nice job in the Dennis Clough prepared number 27 out of Gray, Maine, as he works hard to hold off Andy Lude, already a two-time feature winner, the number 56. Pulsifer driving a Buick continues to show the way. Andy Lude looked to the inside that time, not quite room enough. Has to drop back and follow the 27 one more time. They're coming on to the 19 of Jay Johnson. As the 1 and 2 place cars have just run away from the second and third and the rest of the pack. Side-by-side battle for third now finds Brissett to the inside. Brissett and Bobby Harrison spin in the 3 and 4 turn. The 27 now has the 56 of Lude right underneath him, but they come on to the slower cars and have to back right out of it. Cars out of the pit area, the 35 of Paul Johnson, the 17 of Al Brissett. Join the lineup. Lights are out on the Beretta from Pape Chevrolet. Flagman Eddie Walsh says lineup is correct and we're ready to start. Look for a start at turn 4. Gary Pulsifer, Andy Lude turn up the heat. Green is out. Slight advantage to Andy Lude as they negotiate the front stretch to turn 1. Pulsifer's right back on the inside there, even at turn 2. Down the back stretch to turn 3, slight advantage to Andy Lude. Pulsifer fighting back on the inside. Continues to be a slight advantage by Lude, about a half a car length at the start-finish line. Pulsifer desperately trying to hold up, can't quite hold off the 56 of Lude. New leader in lap 24 is Andy Lude. Here comes Mike Mayetta to the outside, trying to follow the 56 to the front. Ricky Harrison in the 85 looking for racing room at the back bumper of the 27, has the 13 of Mayetta to his outside. Then comes Kurt Gary and Mike Johnson. 26 laps completed. Andy Lude begins to put some distance on the second and third place cars of Pulsifer and Mayetta. Mayetta trying to build the momentum to find a way out and around the 27 of Pulsifer. The cars are dead even into the 3 turn. Pulsifer has to back out of it just a little bit. Slight advantage to Mayetta. Mayetta with about a half a car length as they negotiate the front stretch to turn 1. Out of the 2 turn down the back stretch. Second place in the hands of Mike Mayetta, the number 13. Then comes the 27 of Pulsifer, the 85 of Ricky Harrison. They get together on the front stretch as they bump wheels. Ricky Harrison back on the hammer out of the 2 turn down the back stretch, trying to take over third, and he does at turn 3. 5 laps to go, 30 down and 5 to go. Andy Lude is running away from the second place contender, Mike Mayetta. Then comes the 85 of Ricky Harrison, the 27 of Gary Pulsifer. Side-by-side battle for fifth. Mike Johnson and Kurt Gary. The race is for fifth. A side-by-side battle. Mike Johnson on the inside, Kurt Gary to the outside. Next time by, it'll be 2 to go. Andy Lude with a comfortable lead. Sees the 2 flags, then comes Mayetta. Ricky Harrison, the side-by-side battle continues. Right now, it is Kurt Gary working to the outside of the 27 of Pulsifer. He is a car length ahead. White flag flies. Fourth place in the hands of Kurt Gary. Then comes Pulsifer, then Mike Johnson. Checkered flag in the air for Andy Lude. Mike Mayetta, Ricky Harrison, Kurt Gary, and Gary Pulsifer manages to hold off Mike Johnson. Andy Lude with his third feature win of the 1990 season. As Andy Lude coasts down to the start-finish line, let's have a nice round of applause for the driver out of Biddeford, Maine. Andy Lude in the Doobie Drywall sponsored late model number 56. Always a hard charger here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway. We will be going trackside in just a few moments for a chance to hear from tonight's feature winner. As Andy Lude returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh, we will go trackside to Andy Cusack.
Andy, congratulations, a fine drive tonight.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Mind if I hold that mic?
I was going to say, the last time you were here, I think you just took the mic over. You may want this, but tell us a little bit about what happened out there tonight. A heck of a race.
We were going real well. This is the first time in about 2 months this motor stopped skipping. 6 distributors, and I don't know how many parts later. It's a new motor, and it's running real fine.
The sweater's just pouring off you. Is it warm out there in the cars tonight?
Yeah, I got the heater on.
You sure do. And I'll tell you, the foot was through the firewall on that one. Nick Poulis from Cumberland and York Distributors and Coors Beer has the presentation.
Thanks, Andy. Andy, you did a great job tonight, hanging on to the lead, and it's my pleasure to present you with this first place trophy on behalf of Cumberland and York and Poland. Distributors of Coors, and Extra Bar. Congratulations.
Getting free beer out of that?
Right upstairs, a couple of cartons waiting for you.
Hey.
Thank you, Nick. Sorry I couldn't be riding with you tonight, Andy, too. I know you probably needed some help, but we were watching you anyway.
Thank you, Andy.
Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Andy Lude.
Is Jimmy Emerson. To his outside, the number 8 will be joining the lineup in just a few moments as he makes the transition from the late model to the modified. He's coming up the outside now. That is Glenn Cusack out of Scarborough, Maine, with one feature event win to his credit in the modified. Second row on the inside out of Sebago Lake, Maine, the number 21 of Dave Lampron. To his outside, out of Windham, Maine, driving the Atlas Auto, Forest City Chevrolet, and Channel One video machine, of Lou Weatherby. Third row on the inside, the 89 is driven by Spike Matitol. To his outside will be the number 50 of former multi-year champion out of Barrington, New Hampshire, Bobby Gahan. There have been 9 different feature event winners in the modified division, with 2 feature wins each. We have Lou Weatherby in the number 3, Mike Mayetta in the 16, Willie Elliott in the number 1, and Scott Watts in the number 80. And with 3 feature wins, the number 5 of Pete Rondo. Flagman Eddie Walsh says we are ready to look for a start at turn 4. Jimmy Emerson and Glenn Cusack bring the field down. Green is out. But Flagman Eddie Walsh did not like the looks of that start. Follows the green with a yellow on the backstretch to bring the cars back down to a caution. Looking for a column of 2s. 9 different winners in this modified division already in 1990. Highly competitive field. Obviously, many of these cars capable of winning the feature event. Emerson and Cusack will try once again at turn 4. Green is out. right off the pole. Jimmy Emerson is followed right up the inside by the 21 of Lampron, the 89 of Manitow. Inside row getting the jump. Outside row is going to have to work hard to find a slot to get into. Continues to be Emerson. The number 8 out of shape just a little bit. Cusack does a nice job of bringing it back. Outside lane finding it difficult as the inside lane is on the move. Following Jimmy Emerson right up the inside, the 21 of Lampron, the 89 of Spike Manitow, the 16 of Mike Mayetta, the 61 of David Pinkham for the top 5. Working in lap 5. Leader right from the drop of the green flag has been Jimmy Emerson out of Windham, Maine, in the number 24. Going to put the watch on Emerson here in the tower and just see what he is turning for time. Seemed to be running strong all evening, right from practice right on through his qualifying heat. 14.91 for the 24 of Jimmy Emerson. Very respectable time for the youngster out of Windham, Maine, who has teamed up with Jimmy Glantz in the number 24. They continue to improve each and every week. Tonight also, of course, marks the return of Gary Drew. First night back in competition in the 1990 season behind the wheel of the number 91. Gary Drew trying to make a move on the backstretch as he works to the outside of Bobby Gahan down the backstretch into the 3-turn. Trying to work his way to the front. On the move also is Willie Elliott as he gets into the outside lane to the outside of Rondo. Once the drivers heat up the tires, many times they can go a little better in the outside groove than they can right at the beginning of the race. Some of these drivers back in the pack really have no choice. Jimmy Emerson now building up a little lead over the 21 of Dave Lampron. Lampron holding off the 89 of Spike Manitow. Emerson turning at about 15 seconds flat. Spin by Tommy Oliver in the 1 and 2 turn. That will put the cars under caution as they're working lap 13. Cars have to back out of it as the 29 of Tommy Oliver is unable to refire the car until long after the flag comes out. He finally gets it going, takes it on to pit road. So far, a strong run by Jimmy Emerson in the number 24, and also a strong run by Dave Lampron in the number 21. Out of the pit area comes Mike Mayetta. Flagman Eddie Waltz says we're ready to restart at turn 4. Out of the pit area comes the 29 of Tommy Oliver, also evidently with a tire gone down. The crew does a nice job of getting the car back together, and he chases the back of the lineup. Cars pick up the pace now. Green is out. 7 of Brad Layton is right off over the 4 turn. Something evidently amiss on the number 7 as the car just coasted to a stop. That will bring out the caution once again as the number 7 sits right down off over the 4 turn. Break for the youngster who was in his 3rd outing in a modified. Flagman Eddie Waltz says we're ready to restart with 12 down. Green is out. Side by side down the front stretch into turn 1, Jimmy Emerson and Dave Lampron. Side by side down the backstretch. Slight advantage to Emerson as they race the 3 and 4 turn. Up the inside comes Spike Matitol trying to take over second. On the move is Pete Rondo on the inside, and he has two-time champion David Pinkham to his outside. Here comes Willie Elliott right up over the top of the Rondo automobile. And that will definitely put us under caution as 4 cars are stacked up in the 3-turn. Willie Elliott goes airborne right up over the wheel. It looked like the wheel of the number 5, and right out over the 3 and 4 turn. And it looks like he has refired the car. Flagman Eddie Walsh says the track is clear and we are ready to restart at turn 4. Beretta from Pape Chevrolet is on the infield pit road. Emerson and Lamprin once again. Green is out, but it will be followed by the yellow flag as we have a false start. Flagman Eddie Walsh did not like the looks of that lineup. Out of the pit area comes the 61 of David Pinkham. We'll be back to the same realignment once again. Once again ready to look for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Emerson once again showing the way. Dave Lamprin battling to the outside of Spike Matitol. Then comes Lou Weatherby to the inside. Gary Drew to the outside. Jimmy Emerson, Spike Matitol, Lou Weatherby now up into third. Dave Lamprin fighting back on the outside. The 29 of Tommy Oliver battling now to the inside of Lamprin. Tommy Oliver in fourth. Gary Drew up into fifth as he works to the inside of the 21 of Lamprin. Strong run by Jimmy Emerson, as he has shown the way right from the green flag to start the feature event tonight, chalking up a lot of lead laps in the Eastern Tractor Lap Leader program. Flagman Eddie Walsh says it'll be 5 to go next time by, working in lap 20. It will be 20 down and 5 to go. Continues to be Jimmy Emerson, and in fact he has opened up a bit of a lead now over Spike Matitol. Then comes Lou Weatherby, Tommy Oliver, and Gary Drew in the number 91. Drew looks to the inside of Oliver, and there wasn't quite room enough. Has to back out of it just a little bit, and they single file it down the backstretch. Pete Rondo now to the outside of Bobby Gahan, trying to work his way back up toward the front. Working lap 23. It will be 2 to go next time by. Jimmy Emerson now has a challenger, Spike Matitol, right at the rear bumper. Emerson about a car and a half length over Spike Matitol. We'll see the white flag in the air. Emerson with his strongest run of the year. Half a lap and Jimmy Emerson will collect up his first modified feature of his career. Checkered flag out for Jimmy Emerson out of Wyndham. Followed by Spike Matitol, Lou Weatherby, Tommy Oliver, and Gary Drew for your top 5. as Jimmy Emerson returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh and prepares to dismount. We will go trackside in just a moment for a chance to hear from the youngster and his reaction to his first ever modified feature event win.
He just took up a modified ride a bit of a ways into the season as a rookie in this division, and it really hasn't been too long for the first win. Congratulations, Jim.
Geez, thanks a lot. I'd like to thank Jim that owns the car and the sponsors, Ron's Auto Sales, Spiegel Technics, and his mother for buying the car for him and having a chance to drive the car this year for him. We're trying to go good, but we had some bad luck, but I think it's starting to come around for us.
Before this, of course, you've raced only in the limited sportsman division. I mean, this is going to be quite a change for you.
Yeah, I run limited for like 3.5 years and won 12 shows. I went down to Lee and won down there. And my brother, he builds all my cars, and Sean Potter, he's the crew chief. And I'll tell you, they do an excellent job. And I went home one day and I said, I'm kind of a little disappointed running limited. You know, I kind of bored of it. And so I come home the next week and called him, and it was a modified set in the garage that I bought, and he about had a heart attack. But we've been racing modified since, and I love it. I hate to go back to a limited.
Who's this guy standing next to you?
This is the owner of the car, Jimmy Lance.
Did a good job, Jimmy.
Thanks.
It's got to be quite a sensation to have a rookie driver pick up that win.
Hard time. Unbelievable.
Well, we congratulate you from Cumberland Distributors and Coors Beer. Nick Purvis has the presentation.
Congratulations, Jim. And on behalf of Cumberland and York of Portland, Maine, Coors Light, Coors Extra Gold, present you with this first place trophy on a job well done and your modified win. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank these guys for sponsoring the races here, because if there wasn't any sponsors, there wouldn't be any race cars, and we appreciate the sponsors. And one other person I'd like to thank is my oldest brother, David, and Stanley, my next to the oldest, but Sean Potter, he does one hell of a job with the car. I owe it all to him.
Well, Jim, congratulate you, and we know that's going to be a very special trophy on the mantle. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Jim Emerson. It looks as though we have somebody that used to have some money tonight. Congratulations, what is your name? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the driver of the Skull Bandit Monster Truck, Mr. Bobby Z. Bobby, thanks for being here in Scarborough, Maine at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway.
Thanks for inviting me.
Well, it's great to have you here. Tell us a little bit about this race. This thing is massive. What type of horsepower does it generate, and how do you put one of these things together?
Well, to put it together, it takes a whole bunch of time and money, but it's worth around $135,000.
Not exactly your average family car, is it? But where does this thing start from? Is everything custom made on it?
Everything's custom made. You know, everything's been modified in one way, shape, or form, and the frame and all suspension is custom built to our specifications.
And what about like the tires? Now, where do you purchase tires for a rig like this?
Well, you call your local Goodyear dealer and hopefully they can get you some, but the tires are used in farms and up in the logging country.
Do you know off the top of your head some of the vital statistics about it, how much it weighs, how tall it is?
Yeah, I sure do. It's 12.5 feet tall, 11.5 feet wide. It weighs 12,500 pounds, and that's about it.
It must be great in traffic when you're down at the beach, you know?
Yeah, it sure is. It's a whole bunch of fun.
You know, you're going to play with a little bit of traffic. We set up a little mock traffic jam for you out in the infield and give you a chance to play on that for just a few minutes while we're getting the infield pit set up for the 75-lap race. A final question for you, though. Is this all you do for a living, traveling around crushing cars?
That's it.
What a way to have a life. Wouldn't you like to do that, drive around a truck like this and just run over cars that were really bothering you? Wouldn't that be great? Do you want to see him run over some cars? All right, Bobby Z, you've got a job to do. Go to it in the infield. Bruce Elder will go back to you, and soon we'll be out with our 75-lap race after Bobby Z has done his stunts.
Thank you, Andy. One of several Skull Bandit monster trucks in their team. That's one way to get rid of those tired old cars in the backyard. Gonna do it one more time, they tell us. One more time, ladies and gentlemen. Nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the Skull Bandit monster truck. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the cars for the running of the Limited Sportsman 75-lap feature event are rolling out onto the track. Assistant Starter Junior Niles says the drivers are ready. Drivers, good luck to you all. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those four most famous words in auto racing, on the count of three. 1, 2,
3. Gentlemen, start your engines. Pace car is on the infield pit road. Rusty Shaw and Larry Gelinas bring down a 40-car field to flagman Eddie Welch. Turn 4, green flag. Tangle in the 3 and 4 turn right on the start involves Donnie Morse and the 48 of Tom Bragg, along with the 111 of Pee Wee Knight. Once again on the front line, Rusty Shaw out of Standish, Maine. Larry Gelinas from Scarborough will lead the 40-car field. Flagman Eddie Welch signals the pace car onto the infield pit road. Rusty Shaw, Larry Gelinas. Shaw picks up the pace just a little bit. Green is out. Rusty Shaw and Kevin Gelinas. Larry Gelinas, rather. Larry Gelinas into a quick lead out of the 2-turn down the backstretch, and he brings Don Culprit Jr. with him as they make a quick move by the number 90 of Shaw. Gelinas sideways at the start-finish line, straightens the car out. And in pursuit is Don Culprit. Big field tonight, 8 additional cars over and above the usual 32-car field. Yellow flag is out as Ron Smith sits up off the top of the 3-turn, facing the oncoming traffic. Flagman Eddie Welch says we're ready to restart. Beretta from Pape Chevrolet is on the infield pit road. Larry Gelinas to the inside. Don Culprit Jr. to the outside. Turn 4, green flag. Larry Gelinas and Don Culprit running very strong. Gelinas goes a little wide. Here comes Don Culprit right up the inside. Gelinas trying to get back into the inside groove, but he can't quite do it. Here comes Don Culprit right up the inside. Slight advantage as they race the backstretch to turn 3. Slight advantage to the 16 of Don Culprit. He takes over the lead in lap 4 of the 75-lap feature event. First 2 have put a little distance on the 27 of Bubba Pelton, the 24 of Danny Bubar, and the 14 of Chris Rule for your top 5. Long, long ways to go, and most of the drivers are well aware of that. Find that many of the drivers will try to get in a spot that they're comfortable with and kind of pace themselves. The number 2 of Brad Layton on the move out of the 4-turn down the front stretch as he works to the outside of the 83 of Steve Carey and the 90 of pole sitter Rusty Shaw, who has slipped back to about 5th position now, 6th position rather, about to become 7th if the 2 is able to work his way on by, but he had to back out of it. Brad Layton to try once again to the outside of the number 90. Turn 1, he makes the pass. Works his way up into 6th position. 23 of Robbie Dorr also on the move on the outside. Yellow flag once again. cars tango off over the 3-turn. We have a car up against the backstretch wall. That's the 8 of Gary Johnson. He's able to drive away from that. Don Culpert and Larry Gelinas on the front line. Has to pick up the pace. Green flag is out. Don Culpert with a slight advantage as they race the front stretch to turn 1. Don Culpert shows the way down the backstretch. Then comes the 37 of Gelinas, the 27 of Danny Boop of Bubba Pelton. Then comes Danny Bubar in the 24. And the 14 of Chris Rule. And here comes Brad Layton, has worked his way up into 6th position. Current point leader, Layton. Top 2 cars put some distance on the 3rd place competitor. 2 very strong runners from the qualifying heats. '13 of Ed Gallant on the infield pit road. Without a restart, that will obviously put him a lap down very quickly. Brad Layton on the move as he works to the outside of the 14 of Chris Rule. Leader continues to be the 16 of Don Culpert, followed by the 37 of Larry Gelinas, the 27 of Bubba Pelton, the 24 of Danny Bubar, the 14 of Chris Rule, the number 2 of Brad Layton. Then comes Robbie Dorr, Steve Carrier, in a side-by-side battle between Rusty Shaw and Steve Perry. Leaders continue to open up some distance on the 3rd place competitor, Pelton. Top cars trapped way back in the pack. Pee Wee Knight in the 111. Current runner-up in the point standings. Kevin Durgan also way back in the pack, as 2 of the 3 top cars have a long, long ways to go. Don Culpert and Larry Gelinas put a lap on the Sturtevant automobile. Brad Layton once again working to the outside of the single line of traffic, and he's soon going to have to run 3 wide as they come on to the lap car of Sturtevant. Layton backs right out of it. Wise move on his part. This long race. He'll set himself once again to work out and around the lap car of Sturtevant. Don Culpert and Larry Gelinas now have a substantial lead over 3rd place competitor number 27, Bubba Pelton. And they're soon going to be caught up to the back of this 40-car field. And that's when they will have to thread the needle in order to work their way through traffic. Shaw gets out of shape right at the start-finish line, slides into the infield. Number 90 of Rusty Shaw will try to refire the car. Unable to do so, and that brings out the caution flag once again. Pole position in the hands of Don Colpert out of Scarborough, Maine, driving the Waterman's Ultra Service Center Camaro, sponsored in part by JR Repair Service. A couple of strong runners on the front line. Pace car is on the infield pit road. Flagman Eddie Walsh says we're ready to start at turn 4. Pick it up just a little bit, gentlemen. Turn 4, green flag is out. Don Colpert gets the jump once again as Jelinas was a little slow off the start. That brought Bubba Pelton right up the inside, but here comes Larry Jelinas once again back into second place as he races the 3 and 4 turn right to the back bumper of Don Colpert. Cars racing 4 abreast down the front stretch as Pee Wee Knight goes right out and around 3 cars. Does a nice job of picking up 4 positions in between turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch. He collects 2 more. Pee Wee Knight in the 111 definitely on the move. Keep your eyes on the 111. 3 abreast now in the 1 turn as Pee Wee Knight is on his way to the front. Still a long ways to go and some good cars to work his way around. First and second place cars once again putting some distance on our third place competitor, which is Bubba Pelton in the 27. Then comes Chris Rule in the 14. Side-by-side battle for 5th place. Brad Layton to the inside. The 24 of Danny Bubar slides back and follows the number 2 now. Brad Layton once again to the outside of the 14 of Chris Rule. Now sets a bead to the outside of the 27 of Pelton. They race side by side into the 3 turn. Layton backs off just a little bit, comes back down on it in the 4 turn down the front stretch. Layton is working his way up into 3rd position. 27 laps down in this 75 lap event. 27 laps down. Continues to be Don Colpert showing the way in the number 16, followed by Larry Jelinas. Then comes Brad Layton in the 3rd spot. Bubba Pelton is 4th, and Chris Rule 5th for the top 5. Layton trying to close the gap on that 2nd place car. Begins to put some distance on the 4th place competitor. Definitely has his sights set on the leaders. Pee Wee Knight off the pace, as is the 86 of Robbie Herrick. Mechanical failure evidently on both of those automobiles as they are headed to pit road. The 70 of Jeff Morgan slides it into the infield pit road, into his pit slot for some repair. Looks like an overheating problem on the number 70 of Jeff Morgan. That will take him out of contention as the cars continue under green. Brad Layton is reeling in the leaders. Don Colpert and Larry Jelinas are soon going to have a mirror full of Brad Layton, who is on the move, closing in lap by lap on those 2 lead cars. Layton continues to close that gap. Leaders coming on to the back of the pack now. Approaching the 104. So they hit strong. They work to the outside of the 104. Here comes Brad Layton making a dive up the inside. Will be at the back bumper of the lap car. Unable to advance until something opens up. Larry Jelinas races by on the outside. Meanwhile, Don Copert is into heavy traffic now. Works his way under the lap cars in turns 3 and 4. Passing flag goes out to the cars at the back of the pack. This will begin to create some headaches for the race leaders as they get into some heavy traffic. Flagman Eddie Waltz says it'll be halfway next time by. Cross flags in the air for the race leaders. Continues to be the 16 of Don Copert, the 37 of Larry Jelinas, the 2 of Brad Layton. They are involved in some heavy traffic. Copert continues to do a nice job working to the outside of a number of the cars at the back of the pack. Brad Layton almost running 3 wide, looking to the outside of the 37 of Larry Jelinas. Jelinas trying to find a way between the cars of Don Tapley and the 06 of Dennis Quinn. He finally does halfway down the backstretch. Brad Layton now will look to follow suit. Leader continues to be the 16 of Don Copert. Larry Jelinas working his way to the outside of Steve Carrier. Brad Layton now right at the back bumper of Larry Jelinas, as the top 3 have shaken loose of the 4th place competitor, who is Chris Rule, the number 14. Don Copert continues to do a nice job threading his way through traffic. Following into a mishap on turn 1. Tough break for Don Copert as he is sandwiched in between lap cars. Has to get right out of the gas, brings the caution flag out. Cars tangle on the backstretch. The 19 of Weeks, the 69 of Olin. Yellow flag is out. Flagman Eddie Waltz says we're ready to look to restart at turn 4. Don Copert and Larry Jelinas to square off once again. The Beretta from Pape Chevrolet is on the infield pit road. Flagman Eddie Waltz says pick it up just a little bit, gentlemen, as they bring down a very slow start. Turn 4, green flag. Don Copert with a slight advantage over Larry Jelinas. Larry Jelinas with a strong bid to the outside. Out of the 2-turn down the backstretch. Cars in trouble out of the 2-turn. Looks like the car of Dennis Quinn almost shut down. Larry Jelinas, the new leader at lap 45, as he has worked his way around the 16 of Don Copert. Top 3 put some distance on the 14 of Chris Rule. Larry Jelinas with a strong move takes over the lead. Shows the way. Slim lead over the 16 of Don Colbert. Here comes the number 2 of Brad Layton. Layton looks to the outside of the 16 as they race the 3 and 4 turn. Layton working to the outside of the Don Colbert automobile. Side by side they race to the 3 turn. Layton has to back out of it just a little bit. Don Colbert's right back on the inside. Continues to work to the outside of the 16. Race is for second place. The 16 of Don Colbert, the number 2 of Brad Layton. Side by side across the start-finish line is the caution flag that's out once again. Tangle in the 2 turn. Steve Perry, and it looked like perhaps the 66 of Trent Smith. Flagman Eddie Walsh says it's all clear and we're looking to restart this time around. Pace car will make its way onto the infield pit road. Once again, Larry Gelinas and Don Colbert will square off on the front line. Turn 4, green is out. Larry Gelinas jumps right back into a quick lead. Here comes Brad Layton right up the inside as he dives to the inside of the 16 of Don Colbert to take over second place as they race the backstretch to turn 3. Don Colbert right back hard on the outside. Can't quite do it. Gets the car out of shape coming out of 4. Does a nice job of holding it. Layton now in pursuit of the race leader. Dives to the inside of the number 37 of Larry Gelinas. Strong move up the backstretch by Layton. Takes over the lead at lap 51 of this 75-lap feature event. New leader is Brad Layton out of Center Harbor, New Hampshire. Current point leader in the limited sportsman division. Brad Layton, strong running. Number 2 out of Center Harbor, New Hampshire. On the infield pit road, the 83 of Steve Carrier. Spin in the 4 turn. Looks like the number 90 once again of Rusty Shaw. Cars squeezed by him as they slow down, get under caution. Track is clear and we're looking for a restart at turn 4 with 53 laps down in this 75-lap limited sportsman spectacular. Turn 4, green flag is out. Brad Layton right back into the lead that he held prior to the restart. Now Don Colbert right up the inside to challenge Larry Gelinas for second. Don Colbert to the inside, Larry Gelinas to the outside. Don Colbert as Gelinas gets sideways coming out of the 4 turn. Second place in the hands of Don Colbert Jr. Third place, Larry Gelinas. Fourth place, Danny Bubar closing in on the top 3. Side-by-side battle for 5th. Finds Kevin Durgan taking it over from the inside. Chris Rule to the outside. Black flag going out to the 85 of Scott Chapman. The leader continues to be Brad Layton, followed by Don Colbert, Larry Gelinas, Danny Bubar, and Kevin Durgan for the top 5. Black flag continues to be shown to the 85 of Scott Chapman, which he is evidently unable to see. Chris Rule now in a side-by-side battle with the 72 of Markfield. Markfield takes the advantage down the backstretch. Now Rule in a side-by-side battle with Gary Clough in the 0. Rule finding it a little hard going on the outside as Clough is able to take the position. Passing flag going out to Sturdivant car along with the 50 of Burby. Number 2 of Layton. Closely pursued by the 16 of Don Colbert. $300 difference between first and second. $1,000 to the winner, $700 for second. Our leader continues to be the number 2 of Brad Layton, followed by Don Colbert. Then comes Larry Gelinas, Danny Bubar, and the 28 of Kevin Durgan. Of Scott Chapman finally realizes that the black flag is for him, and he takes it on a pit road. 66 of Trent Smith takes his car onto the infield pit road. .69 laps have been completed. Next time by will be just 5 to go. Race leader Brad Layton will see 5 laps to go this time by. 70 down and 5 to go. Brad Layton continues to show the way over the 16 of Don Colbert, the 37 of Larry Gelinas, the 24 of Danny Bubar, and the 28 of Kevin Durgan. Passing flag goes out to cars just in front of the 2 of Layton. Layton works the backstretch to the outside of Steve Carrier. 2 to go this time by. 2 laps to go. Brad Layton holding about a 3 or 4 car length lead over Don Colbert. Yellow flag is out as the 06 rather of Dennis Quinn spins in the 4 turn, was sitting there driver's side to the oncoming traffic, finally got the machine refired. There's a lap car to his outside, the 83 of Steve Carrier. Second place car is second on the inside. Turn 4, green flag is out. Late, and the 16 of Don Colbert right up the inside. Here comes Larry Gelinas, your third place competitor. Still dusting off some speedy drive. They'll see the white flag fly this time by. White flag in the air. The 78 of Dave Fecto on the move. Late, Colbert, Larry Gelinas, the 78 of Dave Fecto. Then comes the 24 of Danny Bubar. Checkered flag is out. Brad Layton, followed by Colbert, Gelinas. The 78 of Fecto, the 24 of Bubar. Outstanding run by the youngster from Center Harbor, New Hampshire. 1990 Coors Limited Sportsman Spectacular goes to Brad Layton as he comes down to collect up the checkered flag, driving a 78 Pontiac Trans Am. The number 2 is sponsored in part by the New Hampton Sunoco. Layton decides to do something a little bit different and takes the flag around the opposite way. We will be going trackside momentarily for a chance to hear from the race winner. Let's go trackside to Andy Cusack. Andy?
Thank you, Bruce. We'll get to the third place finish for Larry Gelinas over here in just a moment. As Brad Layton, I think, fulfills the dream of taking a victory lap in reverse order. Larry Gelinas, come on over here. Nice job.
Thank you very much, Andy.
You were running up front there for a little while. Did something go wrong with the car?
Well, after I went on the outside for a while, the tires got hot and it was hard to stay there.
Well, you certainly did a nice job with the third place finish. An excellent payday for you. Nick Poulos from Cumberland and York Distributors and Coors Beer with a presentation for you. Nick?
Well, congratulations on behalf of Cumberland and York from Portland on your third place finish. I think that one's full and cold, too. If you want to take and unscrew that from there, you can drink it.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Larry Gelinas. Don, congratulations.
Thank you.
Fine run through there. Did you think you had a shot at the win with that restart on 2 to go?
No, I knew he was just riding around. It was his race at the end.
Well, you held in there fine for a second place, a very respectable second place finish. Nick Poulos.
And again, congratulations from Cumberland and York, Coors Light, Extra Gold from Portland. On second place, you did a fine job. There you go. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, one to go. Welcome into victory lane, Brad Layton. What a day for you and what a way to head to a very important weekend. Congratulations, Brad.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about this race. You qualified pretty well, but you got up in the race early. Did you get into some pretty heavy traffic? What was going on then?
Yeah, I had the cars got great corner speed, and the guys just did a fantastic job. My brother, he worked all week on the car. I don't think he ever come out from underneath it, and it shows. I just, I got to thank him to death, and thank my sponsor Pete and Scott Property Care and Chickadee Station and everybody. I'm really pleased. I tell you, we've had this thing won a few different occasions, and it just fell apart on us. And this is quite a deal for me.
It was just a couple years ago you were leading the race with a couple laps to go, ran out of gas going down the backstretch. Tonight a restart with 2 laps to go. And any flashbacks?
Yeah, it all came back. That's a fact. I didn't want that. I wish this was NASCAR and we finished it under yellow, but Yeah, 2 laps ago, Don was running real well, but he was getting a little loose and using his tires up, and I was just kind of, working the track easy. And I just want to thank everybody that supports us and all the help we got. And this is the race to win.
Well, as if $1,000 isn't enough from Cumberland and York distributors, the folks from Big A Auto Parts also present you tonight with a $50 gift contingency for parts you can purchase at any one of their stores. And Nick Poulos from Cumberland and York distributors and Coors Beer will give what will be a representation of a $1,000 win, and a very important one to you for a long time. Nick?
Congratulations, Brad, on a great win from Cumberland York Distributors of Portland. Coors Light Beer. Sounds to me like this is the beginning of what I heard was going to be a great weekend for you anyway.
Yeah.
And good luck tomorrow.
Thanks. Thank you. I just want to thank Coors and all the help they've put into this limited sportsman race here. It means a great deal to us, as drivers being able to pit in the infield. And, this is our big thing, and I'm proud of winning it, I'll tell you.
I think you've got a lot of fans that are proud of you, too. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Brad Franklin. Bruce, I'll be back to you. We'll see you next Saturday night.
Thank you, Andy. That concludes our race program for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll remind you, if you'd like to stay for a bit and come out on the track and meet some of the drivers up close, perhaps have a chance to look over this Skull Bandit monster truck up close, we welcome you to do so, and we'll open up the main gates in just a few moments. If you're headed home, we urge you to drive carefully, and we certainly hope that you'll make it a habit to be right back here with us each and every Saturday night as we present short track racing at its very best right here at Maine's Beech Ridge Motor Speedway.